Hey, it's in the middle of the night and I decided that this would be the best time to create a frequently asked questions video, because basically I can't answer everyone separately, and I think this will be the best way for people to find the answers that they need. I wrote down a few questions that I see the most often. Yeah, and I'm gonna do my best to provide you with answers. Okay, so the first one is, how do you make your photos and videos look dreamy? I have 2 videos on my channel about the prisms and filters that I use the most frequently, and basically that is what I do the most. So I will take photos and videos through different objects, different filters, and some are like branded things, like this Cokin filter, and I have a few of them, but there's tons of them out there. So I mention them specifically in those 2 other videos about prisms and filters. And then I use also like random objects, like these kind of foils, bits of packaging, that kind of thing. This is just stuff that I collect whenever I see something that I think would work really well. And that's something that's not very durable. They usually, last only some time before they completely get too crinkled. But I kind of like the unpredictability of it and the fact that I can't keep using the same thing. Yeah, I quite like the experimental nature of constantly finding new things to play around with. And then the second part of it is that I edit a lot. I have a background in graphic design, so that's something that I do a lot anyway. I like having that kind of control, regardless of the gear that I use or a filter that I use, that I can still create something that will be interesting to me. So it's kind of like a fluid process of shooting through things, then editing after. The next question is, what camera do you use? So I have a few cameras. I have this approach generally that I don't really think that a camera is something that's very important. I mean, I shoot the same kind of photos, the same kind of looking photos through my iPhone and through analog cameras. I think if you're into editing like me, then it doesn't really matter. When I shoot film, it's because I like the unpredictability of it. I like the process of it. If I shoot with digital cameras, I know that I can take that photo to wherever it needs to be, myself. So then I have a lot more control over it, basically. So, sorry, I haven't answered actually. I have a Canon 6D, which I don't use very much anymore. It was like my first serious digital camera. I have a Canon EOS 650D, which is an analog camera. I have a Zenit E, Smena 8M, a few point and shoot cameras, and my newest addition to my setup is a Sony A7 IV. 2 lenses that I use the most is the 50mm 1.8 and 1.4. I rarely use any other lenses. It's not something that I'm that into. Like I say, I think that nowadays you can shoot really great stuff with your smartphone, as long as you know kind of what look you want to give it, and if you know editing. The next one is, what software do you use to edit? I am really used to Adobe, so I tend to use Photoshop, Lightroom, Premiere Pro pretty much all the time, mostly on desktop. Occasionally I'll use those apps on my phone too. Sometimes I'll play around in apps like Afterlight or Prequel. There's loads of them out there, like really fun analog imitating apps. And I would like to also just point out that I really like to use film, but I really like to use digital media too. I'm not trying to imitate a film look. I'm just making stuff that I like, and people tend to attribute that to film. But I do also use a fair amount of film. The next question was, what film do you recommend? What film stock? And I really like the ones that are a little bit more creative, so like lomography, purple or turquoise, and Revolug. These are the two that I can really. And psychedelic blues film. They're kind of hard to find in Europe, I think, but I think there are some distributors, so if you Google, you'll find them. Now, next question. Where are you from? I'm originally from Poland, from Krakow, or Kraków. And I lived there for a long time, and then I moved to the UK like 12 years ago. And now I'm a little bit in between. I'm just traveling. I spend a lot of time in Italy and in France, which are the two countries that I'm really like bonded with, and they inspire me. Basically, their landscapes is something that's very inspiring to me. Okay, what do you do? I am a graphic designer, freelance graphic designer and videographer, and so I just work with different companies and clients on all kinds of different projects. And I'll make album artwork. I work a lot with music industry, so I'll make album artworks, album design, different kind of assets, videos. I'll edit videos, just whatever is needed. I like to switch things up to not get bored. And apart from that, I create my own content. And so just, freelancer life in general. Okay, so I think I answered all the ones that I wrote down. I probably forgot something really obvious. I might do this again in the future. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it.